Let's talk to God. One more thing, like, subscribe, and share. Come on, let's talk to God. Woo!
Hey everybody, it's Cutler here on the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. I'm so glad to see you all. It is Tuesday, the 17th of May. The month is moving right along, and so are we. And I just want to invite people, if this is your first time stopping by, if this is your first time hearing of this channel for whatever reason it may be, whatever brought you here, I'm so thankful that you did decide to come. So I want to invite you to do me a favor. Just give me 1,800 seconds, because this channel is about motivation, inspiration, and challenging us to show up a little bit better tomorrow than we did today. It doesn't mean that today was a flop. It doesn't even mean that today was a failure. It doesn't even necessarily mean that anything went bad today, but it means we're just taking the time to see how can we show up and just show up and be a little bit better tomorrow than we were today. Now, having said that, let me just tell you, I'm only here for about 1,800 seconds. We've been having some fun conversations, some fantastic discussions. We've been reading from several books. The most recent book that we've read from is this one right here, When I'm Overwhelmed, How to Handle Life at Its Most Intense Moments. And for the most part, we got all the way through it. I think we're at chapter 12, and at some point I promise you I will resume the reading, and I'll just maybe summarize and conclude it. But one of the things that we've been doing recently is to chit chat about a few things that are near and dear to my heart. So I want to say thank you all for just sticking it out with me and for just us listening and learning. We've been talking about learning, we've been talking about bouncing back, we've been talking about just really pulling from yourself and challenging yourself. And one of the things that I did was to challenge myself to do something new that I hadn't done before, and that is I just did poetry building. I incorporated this all into something that I called poetry building. And I shared those poems. So if you didn't get a chance to see the poems, then make sure you go back and look at the broadcast. Just before this one right here, go back and look at the previous broadcast. I shared 3 poems from words and phrases that you all gave me. And at some point, I suppose I will probably include those in a next writing of mine. I'm sure I will do something like that. But I want to do a shout out to the LTTC VIPs. Those are the 3 people who just jump into the chat first, and they just remind me that they're there. So let's see who they are. And I have a few of the things that I really, really want to talk about. I have so much to say in such a little time to do it in. All right, these 1,800 seconds. I want to shout out K Sharp, who says, good evening. Let's see. K Sharp says, good evening. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. I hope you're having a fantastic week thus far. I know it's only Tuesday, but I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful week. I love it when you all come into the room and just chit chat and speak to everybody, just as Jet Sheely has done the same thing. Came right on in the room and started speaking to everybody as well. Let's see who is rounding up. And there's our good friend McDonald, who says, said a good hi to K Sharp. How are you? I missed a few weeks. You know what is so wonderful about this platform, about so many of you all, is that we really are. We've said this. We often say this. Let's keep building community and maintaining connectivity. I love the fact that we come in and we're from all different parts of the world, but we're getting to know each other virtually or through this virtual space. So I appreciate that so much. I hope you are all having a wonderful time. I really want to talk this evening about how to handle a bad mood. And I know that's strange, because if we're talking about inspiration and motivation and challenging and showing up a little bit better tomorrow than we did today, how, Cutler, in the world would you come up with a topic that deals with how to handle bad news? I'll do that in just a moment. I want to talk about that in just a moment. But I want to ask you all this. I want to know if over the course of the weekend, if over the course since we last talked, if you all had heard about a few things. So I might just start doing this segment. I got this from one of the producers who said you might want to just ask them, had they heard certain things you may just want to share with them, just recent knowledge, things that took place. So I just want to ask you all this. Not that I want to talk about this in particular, but I want to just ask you all this so that we stay abreast and stay informed. I want us to be a group of informed people. Had you heard that the COVID deaths in the United States had finally reached the mark of 1 million? It breaks my heart. But I wanted to know if you all had heard that. I also want to know if you all had heard about the landmark case, Roe versus Wade, here in the United States. It's in the news again. It is the news. It's in the news again. And this time, while it's in the news again, it is being considered and scrutinized by two branches of government. It's being scrutinized by the judicial branch again, and it is being scrutinized by the legislative branch. The judicial branch is the Supreme Court, the one that makes the law, the one that interprets the law. And then the legislative branch is the one that makes the law. So they're considering making new legislation. All right. And then let's see, what else is new. I want to know if you had heard about, oh my goodness, you all, have you heard about the shooting in Buffalo that was targeting Black people there in Buffalo? Have you heard about the shooting in California that is targeting Taiwanese people here in the United States? The truth of the matter is that some issues just haven't gone away, and they won't go away by people denying them. So I just wanted to make sure that we as a community, that we are abreast and we know what's going on. Some of these issues are here. They're here, and we would just have to deal with them. Some of them are historical. Some of them are just a continuation of what we've experienced here in the United States before. Remember, in 2021 in Atlanta, Asian American women were targeted in spa shootings. In Atlanta, in spas, you had Asian American women who were targeted. In 2019, Mexican shoppers were targeted at a Walmart in El Paso, Texas. I'm just sharing this, y'all, just so that we can be up on comment on recent knowledge and what's happening. In 2018, you may remember that Jewish worshipers were targeted at a synagogue doing worship in Pittsburgh. This is still continuous. And of course, many of us remember that Black parishioners were targeted at the Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina in 2015. Why do I share that? So that we can all be up to date and aware of what's going on. And I'll round out that Have You Heard segment by just simply saying this, you all. Let's show love. Let's give love. Let's spread love. And I think more importantly, let's teach love. And let's be love. All right. Now then, let's move right on. Let me move right on. So as you're coming into the chats, if you haven't done so already, just do a thumbs up on the conversation, because it lets me know that you're encouraged by the conversation, and lets YouTube know that you like the stuff that guy talks about over there, because we are going to talk about yeah. And somebody actually even put, do you remember in the DMV where there was a shooter? Actually, I certainly do. I remember years ago, I was afraid to get out of my car and pump gas. All right. But this evening, those things can sometimes put us in bad moods. They can affect how we respond. They can affect how we react. So I wanted to talk this evening about how to handle a bad mood. How many of us can really confess that there are times when we show up in a bad mood and we're not quite sure why? What's going on? And I'll tell you all this. When we're in a bad mood, you all tell me if I'm right, if I'm on target with this one. Sometimes we're in a bad mood. We tell so many lies. We tell so many lies to ourselves and to the people around us. Cutler, why would you say that? Because think about this. People will say, what's wrong? And what is one of our first responses? When people ask you what's wrong with you, when you're in a bad mood and people say, what's wrong? What do you say to them? One of the things that you say is nothing. Everything's fine. I'm all right. When we're in a bad mood, we lie to ourselves. We lie to everybody else. We tell so many lies, and we act as if the people in our lives really can't tell what's going on. Sometimes they can look right into our face and tell that we're not okay. They know we're lying. And the only reason they don't call us out on the lie is because they don't want us to feel worse. They don't want to make us feel bad, but they are concerned. Right, Queen of them all. Sometimes when people say, what's wrong? We say nothing. Oh, nothing's wrong. Everything's fine. And the people who care about us, they look at our faces and they say, no, everything is not fine. Everything is not all right. All right. So then, Cutler, what are you going to talk about? What are some of the things that we can do in order to handle a bad mood? Some of these things may apply and some of them may not. I'm going to give you all a heads up. Don't go anywhere, because the same way that we wrote poetry last week, I think we're going to do it again. I have a few questions for y'all, and I need y'all to help me. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. As a matter of fact, while we're chit-chatting, tell everybody, come on, let's talk to Cutler, because we're going to build poems again. All right. But you all, one of the things that you can do whenever you're in a bad mood is change the scene. Just change the scene. What do I mean? Change the room, change the environment, because sometimes emotions are triggered by certain settings and certain environments. So, what do I suggest? Go to a different environment. Surround yourself with different things and different people. Sometimes you can literally leave a bad mood in one room if you just go to another. Just get up and change the room. Get up and change the scene. Get up and change the environment. And if that doesn't work for you, I have another suggestion in terms of handling how to handle a bad mood. How about this? Don't add fuel to the fire. Whatever you do, don't add fuel to the fire. Because have you ever discovered that when you are in a bad mood, this is me, it's happened. Sometimes when you are in a bad mood, you just look for things that will purposefully keep you in a bad mood. I'm in a bad mood and I want to stay in a bad mood. Has that ever happened to anybody else other than me? You're in a bad mood and you want to stay in the bad mood. Why is that? It's because you feel like you have the right to feel like you do. And you certainly do. You have the right to feel however you feel. And no one can tell you how you should feel, not when you're feeling in a funk. They can't tell you that. But may I suggest that when you are in a bad mood, do just the opposite of how you feel. We talk about motivation and inspiration. Please take this as motivation and inspiration. When you're in a bad mood, do just the opposite of how you feel. Make yourself get up and dance. Put on your favorite song and dance. It sounds crazy. It sounds counterproductive, but I promise you, do just the opposite of how you feel. Play your favorite song. Some of you are saying it. Go take a walk. Watch a funny movie. Get up and go get your favorite dessert. But don't add fuel to the fire. You already feel bad. You want to just feel worse? I challenge you on this one, because I understand sometimes when we're in a bad mood, we want to stay there. We want to stay in that place because I feel valid. I feel like I'm valid for feeling like this. And again, no one can tell you how to feel. But don't add fuel to the fire. Don't do that. And as a matter of fact, some of you who are catching the replay and some of you who are watching in the chat this evening, let me share with some of our other book club members are saying, what some of the other passengers here on this highway are saying, as because we're going to this place that's called Better, and our way of getting there, because life happens. And when life is happening, it means we go through the ups and the downs, the ins and the outs, the roundabouts, the goods and the bad moods. So what some of us are sharing, let's see. McDiner says, almost every day I walk on the beach. Seeing God's creation will put you in a great mood. And so thank you. Sometimes you have to just change the scene. For McDiner, it's about changing the scene by walking along the beach. Change your environment. Change what's around you. Kay Sharp says one of the things that works, meditation and breathing techniques are essential to get out of a bad mood. Concentrate on what's going on what's happening. Concentrate on positivity. Concentrate on what is good and what's virtuous and what's pure. Concentrate on those sorts of things. And as you do that, understand how you inhale and exhale on purpose. They are essential to get out of a bad mood. Thank you, McDiner. Thank you, Kay Sharp, for sharing that. And as you all are joining the conversation tonight, if you come up with any other reasons or any other methods of just handling a bad mood, please put them in the chats, because people are catching the replay. May I suggest to you another one, because these are not things that I'm saying everybody do all of these, but I'm saying take one of these points. Let one of these, for goodness sakes, help you when you're in a bad mood. So for you, if it's not about changing the scene, you may not have the ability, the comfort of changing the scene. You can not add fuel to the fire. And if those don't work, let me suggest this. And I know sometimes people may say, well, this just doesn't make sense. But sometimes you've just got to ride the wave. Why would I say that? Because life happens. Life just happens. Now, and as much as we've talked about how to handle life at its most intense moments, there are times when life happens and it will put you in a bad mood. Sometimes you have a bad mood and you've just got to ride it out. That's why I said sometimes you've got to ride the wave. But understand this while you are riding the wave. The bad moods, because bad moods will sometimes take you to and through a dark place. But may I suggest to you while you're in that dark place, understand this. Sometimes you never know how great you are. And you never know how bright your light will shine until you stand in a dark place. Ride the wave, but learn. We've talked about learning our past couple of sessions together. It's been all about learning. Even as you're riding the wave of a bad mood, allow it as it takes you to a dark place. Learn more about yourself. Because you may never know how bright your light will shine until you're in a dark place. And I'm not suggesting that you stay there, but I'm suggesting that we are the sum total of all of our experiences. We are the sum total of our good experiences, our bad experiences, our not so bad and our not so good, our high and our lows. We are the sum total of all of those experiences. So sometimes you can't deny the bad mood. You can't deny it. You've just got to ride the wave. And if I may be honest, I have discovered more. I hope this is helping you all. You all have, maybe you haven't heard me say this in a long time, but I'm just trying to help save somebody's life because this is what's true for me. If I may be honest, I have discovered more about myself in the low places than I have the high places. What have you discovered, Cutler? Because when I'm low, I've discovered that I have what it takes to bounce back. You all remember a couple sessions ago, we talked about the ability to bounce back. I never knew that I had what it took to bounce back until I went into some of the low places in my life. Let that resonate. So when I'm low, I found that I have the ability to bounce back. When it's dark, I've discovered that I have the perseverance to hang on until the light comes. Let these low and dark moments teach you. So as you're riding the wave, remember, I'm riding this wave, but it's still teaching me to get to the space that's called better. What does that mean, Cutler? It means that I'm learning more about myself. I learn about my constitution when I have to go through dark places. I learn about my strength when I have to go through low places. And when it's difficult, when I go through difficult moments, I've discovered that I have the strength to endure until it gets easier. Don't you all let these low and dark places and difficult places zap all of the energy out of you, and you go through these things and you don't learn, ride the wave, but learn as you're riding. Because sometimes we beat ourselves up for just going through the dark places. It comes with what we call LIFE, life. And then may I suggest something else? If those don't work, write down just one reason to be thankful. One reason to be thankful. And as Kay Sharp said earlier, meditate on it. Meditate on it. Write down one reason to be thankful. Thank you all. I see other comments that are coming in, and I love these comments. Let me just share a couple more. McDonough mentioned she listens to gospel, she listens to country music, and Hattie says, I sing gospel music and it helps. Absolutely. Because it changes our mindset. It changes, if nothing else, Hattie, thank you. It changes our perspective on what's going on. And so I want to remind you, as just as a final option, write down one reason to be thankful and meditate. I didn't ask you to write 20, 15, or 20, but just one reason. And then meditate on that reason that you wrote down. Why am I thankful for this? I'm going to help you all tonight. Why am I thankful for this? Write it down and ask yourself, why am I thankful for this? Is it something that no one else has? Is that why I'm thankful for it? And I was blessed with it? Is it something that few people have in my circle? Or is it something that I've been hoping for, wanting for, needing, praying for? Why am I thankful? And I'm telling you, when you get to the root cause of why you're thankful, is it something I need? Because perhaps now my need was just met. Is it something that makes a difference in my life? Maybe that's why I'm thankful for it, because what it is making a difference in my life. Maybe I'm thankful because it's something that I need. Maybe I'm thankful because it's something that I want, something I've been hoping for. Maybe I'm thankful. And then when you categorize why you're thankful, you'll say, oh my God, I have so many other reasons to be thankful. Many times we are in bad moods and we wonder what in the world is going on. How did I get here? How did I get to this place? And so I'm telling you, sometimes when you just want to do stuff that is counter to how you feel. Either you can ride the wave or you're not. And if you're not going to ride the wave and learn, then do something that puts you in a different mood. But I'm telling you all, these are life lessons, because the greatest person you want to get to know other than the creator is yourself. Get to know yourself. Know your triggers. Know what puts you in a bad mood, and know how to lift yourself by your bootstraps from where you are. So I'm like some of you all. I'll listen to gospel music. I'll listen to country music. I'll listen to jazz. I'll listen to classical music. I'll listen to all kinds of music. I'll just put on the TV. I'll watch something that's mindless and funny. Something that doesn't challenge my set of social values. I do all of that. I do some of the things that I did in the past 24 hours. I would treat myself. I told you, I'll get up and go and get one of your favorite desserts or something that you really like. Last night, may I tell you all this? I cooked a whole rack of ribs for dinner today. I put them on late last night. And yes, I can cook. Some of y'all, you remember my Thanksgiving. So yes, I can cook. I put them on a whole rack of ribs and I let them slow cook for 4 hours. And they're going to be my dinner after I finish chit-chatting with you all. And something else I did today. I was out walking, exercising, as I so often like to do. I listened to music. Because sometimes you know your triggers and you feel yourself being sucked into a mood, and you say, I've been there before. I've been in that dark place, and now I know more about myself, so I don't have to go there. I've learned how to avoid it, but I also know how to handle myself when I'm there. Know how to handle yourself wherever you are. All right. I hope you all enjoy that conversation. I hope you all enjoy that conversation. I disagree with the food idea. Well, listen, or something that makes you feel good about yourself. Whether it's food or water or whatever it is, give yourself a treat. For you, it may be exercise, but whatever treat it is, then do that. All right. But now, let me ask you all this: did you all enjoy the poems that I shared with you all? Tell me that. Did you actually enjoy the poems that we created? And I said we created because you all answered some questions and you all gave me some words and phrases back. I want to do that again. I told you all I would do it again. And one of the things that I do is therapeutic, it's cathartic, and all of that stuff for me. And it just helps me. I love writing. I love writing poetry. So would you all like to help me build a few more poems? I want to see what you all are going to say in the chat. Would you all like to help me build a few more poems? I'm going to see what you all have to say about that. All right. And I'll just give you a few seconds. And then, well, let me just ask you all these questions. So now you all start putting some responses in the chat for me. I need your help with this. Here comes a few questions I'm just going to ask you all. And you all tell me, give me your answers. What makes you smile? I'll build a poem based on what you all tell me. What makes you smile? Audrey Dixon, it's so good to see you. You all tell me, what makes you smile? I'm just looking to see what you all tell me in the chats. And then if you all are catching the replay, please put your replay in the comments because I catch those too. If you decide you want to email me your responses, put them there because I'll try to look and catch them there as well. So now after what makes you smile, tell me this. What makes you cry? So what makes you smile was the first question. And then you don't have to put a whole lot of thought in it. You don't have to put a whole lot of thought into it, but just your visceral reaction, the first thing that comes to your mind. So what makes you smile was the first, and what makes you cry. And then here comes one. What makes you mad or angry? What makes you mad or angry? I suspect that these will pop up in the chats because I see you all in the chats. Although I can't see your responses just now, so I'll go back and look for them. So first question was what makes you smile. The second question was what makes you cry. Then the third question was what makes you mad or angry. Then the next question is this. What is a compliment that you would love to hear? What is a compliment that you would love to hear? So that's question number 4. What is a compliment that you would love to hear? And a couple more questions. What is the best gift that you have ever given? What is the best gift that you have ever given? And you might say, oh, I don't know. I can't think about that. That's a difficult one. I'll leave it there. You can populate and give me your answers whenever you get a chance. And now here's one for you. Let's see how well we do with this question. How many times do you, in a relationship, how many times do you forgive before calling it quits? You're gonna say, Color, that's not fair. That's a difficult question. I'm just asking. In a relationship, how many times do you forgive before calling it quits? And yeah, just jump in and give them a response wherever you can. If you don't want to respond to all of them, just sort of jump in and just give a response. So the next to the last question was, in a relationship, how many times do you forgive before calling it quits? And now, here's the final question. Where, other than your home, where do you find the greatest peace? Where do you find the greatest peace? All right. So I'll go back through. I forget. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back through all of those questions just so people who are catching the replay will know what those questions are, because I'm going to use your responses to help build a poem. First question was, what makes you smile? Then, what makes you cry? Then, what makes you angry or mad? Then the question is, what is a compliment that you would love to hear? The next question is, what is the best gift you've ever given? What's the best gift you've ever given? The next to the last question was, in a relationship, how many times did you forgive before calling it quits? And then the final question is, where other than your home do you find the greatest amount of peace? I'm going to take your responses. I'm going to put those responses in the poetry building manufacturing place of my mind, and I'm going to come back with something. If you want to see how I did that before, then just go and look at the previous 2 broadcasts. One broadcast, I posed questions and collected those answers, and then I came back that Thursday and I shared 3 poems, not one as I thought I would, but 3 poems. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. So you all think about it. If you want to send your responses after the broadcast, that's fine. You can come back and just put your responses in the comment section. But do me a favor. Do me a favor, you all. As I opened and talked about some of the ills and the issues that we are still dealing with, I encourage us all. I encourage all of us, in light of what we continue to deal with, let us continue to show love, give love, spread love, teach love, and be love. Let's keep maintaining connectivity. Let's keep building community. Let's keep our heads up. Let's keep our hopes up. Let's stay safe and stay sane, and know that from my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. I'll say good night to you all, and I'll see you the next time. Bye, everybody.